Hello. I. So, I wrote on. What the fuck? Why is my tits? Make this go away. There we go. I wrote on the schedule for this week very clearly. Friday, whatever the hell I want. Yeah, my chainsaw is my character weapon. If I ever get a full body model, it'll be in it. But yes, that chainsaw is very important. But I don't listen. I know that we have a playthrough designated for Sundays. We call it Skyrim Sunday. But I really wanted to play it today. I can't stop thinking about it, and I asked David. I was like, I don't know what I want to stream. He's like, well, what do you want to play? You know, what's calling you? I'm like, Skyrim. And he's like, well, why don't you play your other playthrough? I'm like, I don't want to play my other playthrough. I want to play this one. So we're doing it. We're doing Skyrim Sunday on a Friday because it makes me happy, and ultimately, at the end of the day, who gives a fuck? Well, okay, some people might give a fuck. According to Discord, there were 3 options in the Discord. I asked the community Discord what we wanted to do. Because I didn't want people, I don't like making people upset. So I was like, well, some people might get upset if I do Skyrim Sunday on a not Sunday. So I asked, and the options were hell yeah, no, sacrilege, burn this whore at the stake, and Dave. And out of the hell yeah, no, and Dave won. So, but hell yeah came in a close second. So we're going with hell yeah. We're playing Skyrim. I don't have another starting bit. We're just gimme the game. Gimme. Give me game, please. Okay, here we go. So, when we left off, God, thank you so much for the PlayStation. Thank you for the 17 PlayStations. Burn this whore at this day. Maybe I will, okay? But thank you, gamer. I appreciate you. So, when we, oh, fuck. I know, background music. There we go, okay. So, last time on Dragon Ball Z, basically, we are now doing, we met Parthenax, and he was pretty chill. He was alright. And now we need to find where the Elder Scroll is. Chico, thank you so much for the 16 months, gamer. I appreciate you. Thank you for the 16 PlayStations. Thank you. Welcome in, besties. So, we need to find the Elder Scroll. We're actually going through the main quest a lot faster than I thought we would. But I'm not mad about that, because I'm not a big fan of the main quest. Do we have a pickaxe for this ebony ore? Because I actually need, fuck yeah, I think I need ebony stuff. Oh my god, I just started! Hi, Buns! Welcome in, gamers! Hello, I just played Minecraft in Skyrim. Shit was crazy. But welcome in, Puds. Thank you so much for the raid. How are you gaming? You played League? Did you win? I hope you won, because I don't. I don't win. But thank you for the raid, gamer. Welcome in. If you are new in town, hello. My name is EB Games. I love Skyrim. I love women, and I'm very passionate about my OCs and can ramble on about them for hours. This is Vanya. She is the epitome of supporting women's rights and women's wrongs, because she's a war criminal, but that's okay. Nobody's perfect. Everyone has flaws. No. It was a 50-minute game, and we were literally taking all the inhibs twice and still lost because Smolder. I fucking hate Smolder. I ban Smolder literally every game at this point. Like, I don't know. Anytime there's a champion in League that I auto-ban, there's always, like, someone I know that's like, well, they're not that bad. And it's like, shut up. They're bad for me. I don't want to deal with it. I'm here to have a good time, not a shit time. I don't care if, like, people say, like, ooh, if you're banning Blitzcrank, that's just because you're bad, because you can't, you know how Blitzcrank works. I don't want to get pulled. In this economy? No, I don't want to do it. Can I? Oh, wait, that's my buddy. No, I almost tried to kill my buddy. I'm so sorry, Scritch. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, buddy. That's my friend. That's Scritch. That's my dog. Oh, man. Oh, the Jing on passive isn't fun. Yeah, it's not.
In here.
Yeah, we are in the throat of the world. That's what it's called. So Parthenax chilling over there. We did get all the stuff. We did get all the stuff from the mountain that we can put in the museum. But we got the gang here. We got Inigo. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the yeet. We got Scritch. We got Recorder, who's being weird and has her tits out. Oh my god, you can see her nipple. Nice. And we got Lydia doing hot girl shit. Thank you for the passion check, Leo, but welcome in, everybody. We just got started, so if you need to skedaddle, that's okay. But if you want to get cozy and play some Skyrim, we're gonna do that. No, please. Oh, have fun have fun going to go see Dune 2. Fuck the popcorn bucket for me. Ask for 1 popcorn bucket, extra butter, hold the popcorn. Have fun. Alright, let's see. I need to talk to Arn Gear. So we're going to head over there. It says optional, but we're going to give him a chat just in case. I'll mail it to you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Express mail priority with a fragile sticker on it. So we are going through, so this playthrough is essentially a completionist playthrough. One of my favorite mods that's kind of centering this playthrough is Legacy of the Dragonborn, which, if you are not familiar with Skyrim mods, it is essentially a mod where it gives you a little museum in Solitude, and you can display all your goodies in there. And we're trying to collect all the displays that we can, so we need to complete as many quests as we can and do as much stuff that we can, okay? So, do you fuck with Skippy? Okay, I see Cola just put a poll there, and there is a reason for that poll. I swear to fucking Christ there is. We saw, okay, I read this tweet the other day. I posted it in the stream Discord because it fucked me up. It was like a call out post for someone being a pedophile, which is like every other call out post on Twitter. And it was this guy that was trying to like fucking groom somebody, being like, can I be your girlfriend? Can we kiss? And the way the guy got him to fuck off was just by repeatedly asking this man, do you fuck with Skibbity Toilet? And I think that's hilarious. Welcome in. Honest question. Just wondering, is this game worth even buying now? Okay. I'm gonna talk over the dialogue, but I will give you my honest opinion. So, here's the thing.
Dragon blood bright within you.
Bethesda, I think that Skyrim is still fun. There's a reason why I'm essentially only a Skyrim streamer, is I fucking love Skyrim, right? However, addendum onto that, I would not, if it were not for mods, I would not still be playing Skyrim. Point blank period. I would not be, right? If I had to play vanilla Skyrim, I would take a handful of nails and shove them into my vagina. I don't want to, I would rather kill myself, okay? But Skyrim modding is a beast in its own. Like, Skyrim modding is what makes it fun. So I would say if you don't pay full price for it, buy it on sale. Like, that's what I would say, is don't pay full price for it. Get it on sale, right? And then, mod packs and collections are your best friends. I will say, the one thing that is annoying is Bethesda seemingly is doing convinced with the vagina point. You know, I get that a lot. No. But that's the thing, right? Vanilla Skyrim, mid as fuck. Access, thank you so much for the follow. Now I guess I can keep girl boss, right? Fucking vanilla Skyrim, mid. Modded Skyrim, base. So, if you're new to Skyrim modding, highly recommend getting into a collection. The one I'm using is called Immersive and Epic. If you type a little thing that says mod list with an exclamation point, then you can check that out. A new mod got released today that gives 4 alternate endings. Oh, I need to check that out. That would be cool. Next time we do a like thief-centered playthrough, we should do that. I don't want to add too much to this playthrough, but because I don't want to fuck it up. And like, we're still gonna do Thieves Guild stuff, but it's not like the main focus of it, you know? But I think next like playthrough we'll do that. I don't have a vagina, but she tells me shoving a bunch of nails into my nut. Yeah, and just, you get it, right? You get it, you know, you get it. But that's the thing, right? Just as Sinellian says, he came in. Even though Skyrim is getting, the updates that Skyrim is getting are making it harder to mod things, and then the modding community is just constantly fighting back by releasing patches to fix the game so we can keep modding it. And even though a lot of like, modders that were there when Skyrim was like at its peak of its popularity have moved on or like work at Bethesda now, there's still a really decent community. There's still people making new stuff. So that's what I would say, is if you're willing to take the time to learn about modding and how to install mods, I still think Skyrim is worth the price. I just wouldn't buy it. I would just wait for it to go on sale. That's what I would do, you know? So, we do have, it needs a few patches as a, gotcha. Don't think you can use it with Epic Mod Pack. Good to know. That does sound cool, though. Saw a bunch of interesting to say the least mods on Nexus mods. Yeah, there's some fun stuff, but you can see, we have this gorgeous fucking landscape over here, which is, like, absolutely incredible looking. Let me do this, actually, so I can just, meow. There we go. I need to change, oh my god. That was horrifying. I need to change the hotkey because my hotkey for screenshots is the same as my outfit toggle hotkey. So I need to fix that. The ending is all I wanted. Ooh, that does sound really cool. But you can see just stuff like the landscape. Stuff like, look how her cape flows in the wind. Look at that shit. Also, look at her outfit. Also, I have fucking 635 carry weight because I have all these little pouches and backpacks and things. And also, just look at her. She's beautiful. She's serving. She's cunt. She is the moment, you know? The cheese mod is very fun. Any mod related to cheese. There is a cheese spell. Hi, Blackfire! There is a cheese spell where it turns, I don't remember what mod it is, but it turns stuff into cheese. You can turn things into cheese, you know? But yeah, like, everyone's beautiful. Even Inigo is beautiful. Everyone's beautiful. Even if they're still... You're still annoying, but she's beautiful, you know? So it's like, it works out. But welcome in, gamers. Hello. So I think what we're gonna do, yeah, we need to figure out where the Elder Scroll is. I don't know. There is some other stuff I want to do, though. We still need to talk to Brynjolf. There's a lot of stuff we need to do. How much junk is in our trunk? SMP hair. Yeah, I need to get that a try. We don't have enough junk in our trunk, so I kind of want to... I know we need to do the main quest, but I don't want to. So I kind of want to just, like, be chaotic and do one of these moves and just... Jazzy, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. You know, Gaslight Geek Girl Boss. I'm literally just going to do this. I don't want to do these ones. We'll do... I don't want to go back to Worm's Tooth. We'll do a few other quests, and we still need to gather building materials. So, someone made a joke in the Discord about, since we're playing this save, that we usually play on Sundays on a Friday, of calling it Falkreath Friday. And unironically, that's actually kind of a good idea, because we need a shit ton of building materials for building the guild house for Legacy of the Dragonborn, and I believe a lot of them are in Falkreath. So the thing with the Forbidden Legend is I kind of wanted to wait to do it until I did College of Winterhold, because I thought you had to do College of Winterhold for it to work correctly or something like that. But if not, then like cool. So we're gonna do just a bunch of shit because I don't want to do the main quest right away. Like, we did a bunch of main quest stuff. I don't want to do the main quest stuff right now. We're going to do a bunch of the other shit right now. Your internet's bad. Oh, I'm sorry, gamer. I sent you a whisper on Twitch, by the way, Blackfire. You literally made me cry the other day. So I would love to, like, send you something to show my appreciation for your support. So if you can find your Twitch whispers, add me on Discord. You're gonna need the Sarthal amulet, I believe. Yeah, that was my thing. Is I was like, I'll just wait for it to go. We already talked to... No, that was a different... Was it? No, I think it was this playthrough we talked to Cicero, so I don't know what's going on. But yeah, we're gonna just kind of click everything because fuck it. We're not doing the wench quest, though. That we can wait for later. So we're just gonna literally do whatever. Okay, maybe that's enough. We're not doing Forgotten City, though, because I don't want to. Does Forgotten City actually... Hold on. Does Forgotten City have Legacy of the Dragonborn displays? Because if it does, then we'll do it. But I'll be honest, I really don't want to do it low-key. Not because Forgotten City is a bad mod. I think it's a great mod. But I already played the full game, right? Like, they made the mod, and then they made the game, right? And I played the game, like, not, like, super recently, but fairly recently. And it was a fantastic game. Absolutely gorgeous, but still, like, fresh in my mind. You know what I mean? The radioactive... Oh, god damn it. Okay, so we'll have to do that at some point. I will probably admittedly speedrun it because I'm lazy, but that's okay. So we need to find out who sent the cultist. Is there like a dead body or something here that I just didn't loot? It says the cultists are like right over here. Hold on. Where are they? The other Dwemer one with the house? Ooh. Was I attacked here? I'm not sure. Add player items, stupid armor piece. I mean, we could do that. Let's see. There's also that guy over here. I think he's one of the Dark Brotherhood people you kill? Yeah. But what's the deal with the cultists? It says I have to go over here to find out what's going on with them. Let's see. Steam pipes is part of the museum? Ooh. Maybe there's a dead body I was supposed to loot around here somewhere? Because I don't see anything to loot, like, about where the cultists are. So I don't know what's going on over there. Do I need to go in and, like, ask somebody? It says it's, like, find out about the Dawn Guard, find the Nordic Runestone. Where does that take me? Let's find what that exact little node is. Give alms, investigate the mysterious tower, investigate the ruins, locate the Oblivion Gate, speak with the leader. Yeah, it doesn't actually, it's not here. At least I don't see it. Yeah, there's no actual thing for that. Okay, well, I guess we'll skip that one for now. What do we want to do instead? We have a lot of stuff to do up here. M and then L, okay. Let's see. No, that's what I'm saying, is it's like, let's see. I don't know where that is, but alright. Let's see. Is it back here, actually? Maybe it is related to that one guy. We'll see. Yeah, you're like doing some. Oh, wait, clay! I need clay. Hey, get that.
I wish I could make my
I need that. I need to build a house. Can I borrow this? Can I borrow this? Can I borrow this? I need to borrow this. Oh my god. Okay, fine. It's fine. Let's see. Aha! Here we go. Orders. Okay, I guess I just never looted this guy. I really thought I did, but alright. Let's read the cultist orders. So where are those? Mythic Dawn orders. Orders to a cultist. Here we go. We gotta go fucking Solstheim. That's right. So, let's see. Board the vessel at Northern Maiden docked at Raven Rock. Take it to Windhelm. Then begin your search. Kill the false dragonborn known as Vanya Illyria before she reaches Solstheim. No! My internet has never been this bad. I'm so sorry, bestie. Godspeed. Godspeed. If you do wield pickaxes. I think I only have one, but like, hey, we'll try, you know? We'll try. He doesn't have any other goodies, does he? Well, I do need his bones. Give me those. We haven't been able to summon any boners because I had a period where my carry weight was like really fucked up, but now it's not at least, so we'll see. Okay. We have that sorted. What's next on the agenda? Looks like we need to go right. Snag a two-legged sheep. Meet Brynjolf during daytime. Okay, I guess let's go to Riften. I do want to do I'm not excited about starting the Thieves Guild. I'm gonna be honest, I'm like, I don't know why. I feel like it hasn't been that long since we did Thieves Guild last, but I'm not like looking forward to it low-key, just because like, this is gonna sound fucked up, but like, hear me out. What's the point in doing the Thieves Guild if I can't have the Brynjolf sex mods? Like, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it. Why am I, like, it's a point, like, I have to be normal this playthrough because this character is normal, but I'm not. Like, why am I here? Let me fuck him, but it won't let me, and it's stupid. And I broke my game with the mods last time because I had too many Brynjolf romance mods. I always welcome in. Yeah, what's the point of Thieves Guild with no Brynjolf sex? Like, I'm not interested. Sorry. Like, leather armor for songs of Skyrim. I love that. Okay. We're gonna have to come back here during the daytime to get Brynjolf, but for now, we do have a quest to learn about, flesh magic, so that's cool. But we need to find What? Need something? Oh, no. Two-legged sheep. Do I have to kill a child?
How can a humble servant of Talos help you today?
Okay, is that the answer? Oh, it's a special weapon! Wait, hold on. I think I already put it in the museum. It wasn't the light of day, was it? No. Oh, shit. I have to murder a child. Oh, fuck. He gave me a weapon though, and I think I already put it in the museum. Okay, can I murder him normally? I gotta go get it. Fuck, what was the name of the weapon? Let me see. Heart of Crimson, it wasn't that. It's pretty recent. Anatomancer. What did he give me? Fuck. Because I don't remember the name of it or where it's gonna be in the museum. Shit. Fuck. Are we sure I can't kill the child normally? Where are you going, buddy? Although I don't think you can kill children normally, so maybe this weapon like lets you.
Help! Get away!
Here, come on, just come on. Here, I saved. Fucking recorder went in! Okay. Yeah, okay, that's not gonna work. We're gonna need the weapon. Okay, what the fuck is it called? Let me quick save, and we're gonna have to head back to the museum and grab that thing. That's kind of annoying. I wish I knew that before I donated it. But, like, it makes sense. Okay, what is this quest called? We're gonna have to Google it. Let's see. It was Sacred Anatomancer. Okay, Sacred Anatomancer weapon. Why'd you put it away? Because it had a display for the museum, and it let me, and I was like, yippee! Display! I didn't know I was gonna need to fucking use it right away. I didn't know I was gonna have to kill a child. Let me see. Okay, Sacred Anatomancer quest. Let's see. It paralyzes? Oh, okay. Let's see. What is the name of the quest? Boo! Shit. Yeah, what is the name of the weapon? What is the name of the weapon? Isn't killing children fun, though? I'm not answering that. I'm not answering. Anatomancer's pipe is the name of the weapon? Okay. Alright, we're gonna have to go on a field trip. Alright, field trip. Anatomancer's pipe. Alright, let's see. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I just had a really fucked up thought. Can you imagine it, like, you hit the kid with it, and it just makes, like, the metal pipe falling sound, like the bang! That would be fucked. Alright, Blackfire, thank you for the hydrate. Like, the fuck, where is it? Hold on. This is important to me. Wait, let me find it. I want to play it real quick. It's the, where is it? Metal pipe falling. There we go. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why, maybe that's what came to my head when you said, like, Anatomancer's pipe. Just that fucking noise. Okay, let's go find the pipe. Let's go find the pipe. The quest is more fucked up. Listen, I don't mind killing, like, you know what? Maybe I should stop. Maybe I should stop. Okay, Anatomancer's pipe. Why is there a dead? What? Hold on. What happened? What happened?
I'm so sorry. The museum has been robbed.
Every time I need to go to the museum to do a quest, I get cucked by some fuck shit happening at the museum. Okay, well, you better. What's going on?
Yes, you see.
God damn it!
I haven't been exactly completely forthcoming with you about my past.
Can't believe I've been denied pipe. This is fucked up.
It has caught up with me.
Why does this always happen to me?
Before coming here,
If they stole the pipe, I will literally kill myself on stream. I will Sudoku on stream. This one's fun. I do like a lot of the museum quests. The museum quests are fun.
We were on a job. We were posing as guards for a caravan destined for.
They stole everything? How?
When we reached the wastes.
That's like 3,000 pounds!
When we got there, we were ambushed. The entire job was a ploy to catch us and put an end to our banditry once and for all.
Oh.
That's how I lost my eye. Only a few of us escaped. And
What does
fled
this have
into
to
the
do with
hills
why
of the
everything got stolen?
bleeding and alone. I still
Did I click the wrong dialogue option, or is he just giving me all his lore before he tells me what the fuck happened?
By a missionary
I think I picked the wrong one. Bro, stop talking. Like, I'm sure your life is interesting, but like, okay. Can you imagine, like, being at work and your job gets fucking robbed and they come in and they're like, what the fuck happened here? And you're just like, it all started when I was born. Like, what the fuck? They brought a Khajiit caravan with them to the robbery. Oh, that makes sense. Hi, Blaze!
But they knocked out
God
Billy
damn
and
it.
overpowered me and the other guards.
That does make sense, though.
Tied
They're
me
after him.
and
That
made
does
off
make
with
sense.
everything.
I wish he had like led with that, been like just started with there's some people I know in my past. Let me tell you about my past. I'd be like, oh, okay, but just rather than like back when I was a boy, like what? What would Vanya say? Because Vanya's kind of the worst. She's imitating internet recipes. Well, actually, no. Vanya's not the worst. She's just very stern, okay? Yeah, I don't think she'd rat him out, but I don't think she'd be nice either. All right, you're not getting off of that easy. You gotta help me.
You mean, after all my failings, you are willing to allow me to help you?
Sure, I
believe
there's gonna be a lot of shit to carry. It's like 2,000 pounds of random shit I've gathered.
There were a few jobs we had which brought us into Skyrim, and we
But
had
welcome,
a couple of
JK.
small holdouts back in the day. I would think that a good place to start would be Windcaller's Pass.
Okay. I do really like the way the museum guard armor looks, by the way. The museum guard armor kind of goes hard. Wonder if there's an Avram romance mod. I hope so. I need an Avram romance mod. I need an Aryan romance mod. Let me start a harem with everyone in the museum. Please. It's not like one person was carrying all of it. I mean, listen, actually, no, it wasn't just me gathering it either. It was everybody. Well, let's get going.
Excellent. You won't be disappointed. I'll redeem my...
See, I'm hearing mixed things. Some people are saying this quest is really good. Some people are saying this quest is annoying. God, look at it. Not my statue. Damn, they really took everything. God damn. Okay. Well, no pipe. No pipe. It's good the first time. I get that. I mean, that's how I felt about the main quest, low-key. So, I get you. Like I said, main quest is not the, like, marvel of writing, but it's not, like, awful either. But when you've done it a bunch of times, it is. Let's see. Oh, this is... I don't know why, but something about the really dark sky. Oh, look at that. Wait. That's a shot. Hold on. That's a shot. That's a fucking shot. That's a shot. Hold up. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now give me one. Give me another one. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Look at her. And then Lydia with her thighs out. Let's go. Oh, that's wrong button. There we go. It's a great quest knowing when you get it at the wrong time, then it gets boring like the main quest. That's fair. I expect that. That's reasonable. Okay. This one. There we go. Okay. Cool. But yeah, that's fair. I get that. Alright, let's head out. And he said what? Windcaller's Pass? Alright, let's see. What's on the way there? So that's Windcaller's Pass. Is there anything we, like, pass on our way to Windcaller's Pass? Anywhere I need to go? Find the Nordic Runestone. Well, let me just... I know we need to not get robbed, but let's actually dip over here and find the Nordic Runestone real quick. Because, like, it's on the way. We may as well, you know. So let's see. Yeah, I do feel like I always get legacy quests at the wrong time, though. I really do.
Girl
Leo
boss.
Black, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Not Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss. I got robbed. Welcome to this Fallout game. Looks sick. This is like Fallout Isekai. Imagine Skyrim is just like a vault experiment. They're like, okay, we'll put all these people in a vault and then we'll isekai them. How long until they go insane and realize none of this is real and it's all a simulation? I don't know. I could see that being like, would it be a valid theory? No. Could I see someone unironically coming up with that? Yes. I don't know. I haven't played a ton of Fallout, but all I know is like some of those vaults were wild. So like it's not like too far of a stretch of the imagination, I think. Is there a fight happening? Cause I'm walking over here. I'm walking over here. Runestone will increase your speed completing the Legacy of the Dragonborn Museum. Okay, good. Yeah, I need that runestone. All right, let's see. What? I want to get my blood points back up. So we are doing, if you're new in town, we are doing a blood magic playthrough, and we just unlocked blood magic, as in I just got the mod. So we have to be kind of careful with blood magic because it uses health as your casting thing. So we do have a thing that lets us give the suck and regain health, but I have accidentally killed myself by doing magic quite a few times. So let's do drain health and this one. So, okay, this one. You can see how my health just like, bam. But I can heal myself back up. But you can see that rate of healing is, it's something. That was not exhilarating. That was me sucking off a mug crab. Okay. There I have a simulation vault. Well, give us another one. I do think, yeah, Blood Dagger I think doesn't take as much. So we'll do Blood Dagger, but that did. Here we go. All right. There we go. The suck. I'm sucking him off. And then once I regain full health, I'll start throwing knives at him. But you can see the knives are like made out of her blood, which is low-key metal as hell. But you gotta be careful just so, because that's the thing is if I'm casting a spell and killing myself to cast a spell and then he hits me, then I'm kind of fucked. Here, I'll take that skull. We might be able to summon some more boners actually. Let's see, any other baddies up here? Let's see. Gold, hip bone, left bone, rib cage. Let's see. Orcish arrow. Anything good in here? Let's see. I was sucking off a mud crab. I needed to leech his blood because I was low on health. Okay, what's not to get? There is never a good time to enter my stream. The golden rule. I don't know. Listen. I'll never get over. My parents watch my streams sometimes, and sometimes people get really shocked about that. They're like, your parents know, like, this shit you say? And I'm like, yeah, and they think it's funny as fuck. But, my dad asked me, because I made a joke about the Dune popcorn bucket the other day, you know, the one everyone's memeing on, because it kind of looks like a fleshlight. And I had to, like, he was like, why'd you make a joke about fucking a popcorn bucket? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And I was like, no, Dad. No. And I said, Dad, look up Dune popcorn bucket. And he looked it up, and then he looked at me, and he was like, I understand now. Okay. Understandable. Have a nice day. So it's like, my parents are like, wait, what?
That's close enough.
What? Oh, you guys kidnapped that woman. Hey, that's fucked up. You can't do that. Stop. No. You can't do that. You can't kidnap people. That's bad. Okay, all right. Time to... There we go. All right. And then now we'll do this. Throw knives at him. And then we heal up. Any more? There we go. All right, here we go. Give me your bones. Give me your bones. We might be able to summon some boners. Oh, wait, what the fuck? Oh, it's the horse! The fucking horse is going after us! Oh, shit, I killed myself! Wrong button. Okay, someone picked me up. I don't know who picked me up, but thank you. Okay, someone picked me up. Oh, Inigo, thank you! Inigo picked me up. Okay, cool. I just have to not kill myself again, and we'll be okay. All right, let's take these. And actually, since it is nighttime and I am waiting for my health to regen a little bit, we just got a shit ton of bones. Let's see if we can get an altar going. So we do have, I believe it's Ordinator is the one we have. But we do have a perk in Conjuration that lets us summon bone people to fight for us. And we call them my boner arm. Oh, are you good? Yeah, be free. Are you good? Yeah. Live your life, girlfriend. Does the suck spell work on undead enemies? Good question, actually. No, it does not. Just because it is basically me absorbing their blood and healing myself with their blood. I guess blood types just aren't a thing in Elder Scrolls, which is like good for them. But yeah, I guess I just kind of, you know, But welcome to the stream. Hi, welcome in, Gamma, welcome in, Mage. The scrolls are elder. You can't be playing with them. They're gonna break a hip. Well, skill issue. Just don't be old, Fivehead. Okay, that is my one boner. Do I have enough for another boner? No. Okay, that's enough bones. Well, we have one boner. I know that you don't have any brothers or sisters, but that's okay. You are my boner, and I love you all the same. Mwah! I give my boner a kiss. All right, let's go. Is there anything in the wagon that's good to take? Anything? Any goodies? I can't open that. The what's it called? But that's okay. Hi, Karma. Fucking up my grandma came into an ad. Listen. My dad didn't know the memes about that Dune popcorn bucket. He was like, why are you talking? That doesn't make any sense. I'm like, no, it does make sense. You just didn't know. I like the idea that the ad was trying to censor me. Oh, well. Do not let that boner stay more than 4 hours. Yeah, then we'll have to call a doctor, and I don't want to do that. All right, let me get my spells back, actually. Just so that way I'm good to go. How many blood points do I have, actually? I need 200 to level up, to get another blood magic point. And we're at 167 right now, so we still need to we just gotta keep sucking, fellas. We just gotta keep sucking, and we will meet our goals. Now, I know some might think, Evie, you can't just make the same blowjob joke every single stream you use blood magic. Yes, I can. I don't care if it's no longer funny. It makes me laugh because I'm stupid. Next question. Alright. That runestone is activated. I think we only need to find 1 or 2 more runestones. Because they're scattered across Skyrim, but that one should be good. Let's see. What's next? Because we are just kind of... We gotta go all the way to, Windcaller Pass. But that's... Oh, God. That's a lot. I don't want to go to Markarth. They want me to go to, like, near Markarth so bad, but I don't want to. All right, where was Windcaller's Pass? I fucking forgot. Oblivion Gate. I know I can just go look, but I'm lazy. I am very lazy, but that's okay. I thought it was closer. That's the Wayward Pass. That's a different one. Here's Windcaller Pass. Okay. So, where are we now? We're all the way over here. So, I guess we can just... How is Windcaller Pass just right there? Okay, well, damn. Alright, we're just gonna... skip over there. Hop, skip, jump. Yippee! Alright. Hi, Jester! What's wrong with Markarth besides everything? Listen. Markarth... I don't even have, like, a joke or a bit to make about it. I just fucking hate Markarth. You show up and someone gets stabbed, okay? Although, to be fair, I'm from Baltimore, so, you know. Reminds me of home. Alright, this is... Make this one blue. There we go. There's a way to get some head. Yeah, I'm all about getting head.
No, not yet.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's head over there and see if there's any rock. Girl, what are you yapping about? Here's the one thing I dislike about having many followers, and don't get me wrong, I love having many followers because all my followers are fun. I like their little quips, right? But the one thing I don't like is it feels like because I have so many, there's like a little joke or banter going on all the time. And there's part of me that's like, stop yapping. Calm down. We don't need all that yapping, you know? We like, girl, chill out. Chill out. There we go. Like, shout out to Scritch, who doesn't say anything because he's a dog. You know what I mean? Where's Scritch? Where are you at? Where's my boy? Good boy! That's my dog. You like my dog? Hi, Yora. Welcome in. Alright, let's see if the robbers are up here. I know I have a spell for running faster, but this is fine too. Vanya needs to exercise more, okay? She's done too much. She now has to, like, actually have a decent body and be in decent shape so she doesn't run out of blood. Alright. I don't know. When they say North Windcaller Pass, it made me think it was, like, a valley, not a cave, but that's okay. It's an odd-looking dog. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. He's a special breed. I paid $500 for that dog. I actually don't know anything about dogs. David explained to me the other day that there are some breeds of dogs that, like... Oh, shit. Hold on. I didn't, like, know... Oh, shit. Okay, these guys are kind of buff, actually. I think we'll be okay. What? He killed my boner immediately! My boner hath fallen! And can't get up! No! I mean, at least I can summon another one. Here, you're not getting away that easy. You can't just kill my boner and get away with it. Alright, here, I need to... There we go. I just need to keep sucking... Oh, fuck. Okay, Fireball might kill me. Hold on. So why Skyrim today? Just because you wanted to do... Or just because you wanted to... We're still gonna play this save on Sunday. I just really wanted to play Skyrim. Because I, like, wrote on my schedule, I wrote whatever I want. And when I made my schedule for the week, I was like, oh, I'll probably figure out what I want to do, you know, by Friday. And then I didn't. And I was like, you know what I do want to do? I want to play Skyrim. I know it might be sacrilege to do Skyrim Sunday on a Friday, but it's what the world needed right now. You know? It's what we all needed. Some folks are immediate boner killers. Yeah, I get that a lot. What the fuck killed me? Oh, I got shot in the face. Okay, that'll do it. Is anyone gonna pick me up this time?
Damn.
Are you gonna pick me up?
I enjoy fighting. I really need to work on my files.
See what I mean? Like, I love recorder, but it's like, girl, shut the fuck up. I'm dying. I don't care about your files. I'm dead. Okay, we're just gonna do one of these moves. I have deceased. I have died. That's okay. All right, let's try that again. Let's try that again. But yes, I don't have a problem. You have a problem. I can stop playing Skyrim anytime I want to. I'm not addicted. It's perfectly normal levels of Skyrim here. Alright, let's get some flame bitches in here. Haha! Hot women that will murder you! Yippee! Everyone's favorite! Alright, get in there, buddies. Alright, let's get this situated now that I can kind of stand back from afar, hopefully. Okay, there we go. Another one. Okay, now they're dropping like flies now that we got the hot ladies out. Let's see. Gold, lockpick. There we go. No display pieces. Skulls are always hard to come by. I will always grab some skulls. Skyrim times 2, love that. Just, you know, if a schedule on. Yeah, no, we are all good. Sometimes you just need to rim the sky extra. You know what I mean? You just need to do extra rimming. Oh my god. Okay, no, I'm gonna kill myself. Fuck! Okay, you know what? I need to just. Here's what I need to do. Here's what I need to do. Step 1, not kill myself. I know that's difficult, but I think we can do it. Step 2, I need to just like low-key spawn my flame ladies in again, and then just be like, and then just run the fuck away. Like this, right? Observe. Okay, there we go. All right, you guys go in, and then I give the suck from a distance. Perfect. Yeah, that's the thing, is it's so tight that like Scritch can't even get in there. Not everyone can fight even if they wanted to. Alright, there we go. Perfect. And then I'm actually going to quick save here just in case I fuck it up again, because I wouldn't be surprised if I fucked it up again, I'm going to be honest. Let's see. That's a lot of bones. Hell yeah. Okay. Quick save. F5. Okay. Hi. Would you like some women? Have some women. Alright, guys, come on. Come on, come on. He's fighting my women. That means we gotta go too. We gotta go. Come on, we gotta. Yeah, there we go. Okay, awesome, awesome. All right. Oh wait, women, women, don't kill my Skelly. No, he's going after my boner. Not my son. No, my boner. My boner. I thought I could save him. I just got my new boner. I don't think I'm allowed to be happy, actually. I don't think I am. Are you guys still fighting? There we go. Okay. There we go. Come on. You guys done? Yeah, get out of here. There we go. We'll summon more boners when we leave, because I think now we have enough to summon 2 more, but why did he just do that? Why did they just give my boners like that? Alright, find clues of where to go next. Alright, well, we got the stolen artifact, so that's cool. Can the mage boner heal you? I'm not sure, actually. Is there anything else here? I'll take some firewood, because I actually need firewood, low-key. I don't remember what I need it for, but I think I need it for, a fucking, what did I need it for? I think I need it for a replica for the museum. Something I need to build. I remember that. I don't think there's anything else here I need. Note from Jalil. I don't know. Let's see. Here, text, get away. I'm trying to read. I can't see. Once you manage to get out of solitude with the hall, make sure you find the deepest, darkest hole. You can to keep it in until things die down. We'll make our way to Engelman's Rest and get some of the loot moving over the mountains right away for our home. There's so much of it, we can't possibly hope to move it all at once. Yeah, how the fuck did you manage to do that? I will be here for a time. Okay. So, they stole all our shit. Not cool. Is there more stuff over here, or is that just the way we came? Because I don't think... Have we completely cleared this place out? It says we have it, so I kind of want to look further just in case. Yeah, who's this guy? Who are you? You know what I mean? Hi, Morgan. Did you get the thrall spells? No, I did not. I haven't done that yet. I do need to, though. I'll get there. I keep saying, originally I wasn't going to play Skyrim today, but then I really wanted to rim the sky, so I forgot to download the new mods I wanted, because I do still need to check out the candlelight mods, too. So I guess there's nowhere else to go, but that's okay. All right. Let's see if it's still nighttime, and if it is, then we can summon some more boners for our boner army. So, Predator Skyrim. There we go. Holy shit, it's already been an hour. What the fuck? All right, let's go. Alright, let's see. Where is... Well, let me actually look at my journal. Because it was... Tell Avram about the note. Oh, yeah, where is he? Hey, bro. So, I found this.
Oh, good. Yes, Engelman's Rest. I know where that is. Jalal?
Jalal, yeah.
Jalal himself is here?
Yeah.
That isn't good.
No. Who is he?
Jalal.
Also, why are we sliding and why are... Recorder, we need to talk about personal space. You are literally You are pushing this man off a hill. We are descending. Okay, there we go. Are we gonna... I think you're in his bubble, babe. Like... I'm sorry, but I think you're in his bubble.
Double back to Engelman's Rest.
I'll scout ahead and meet you there.
Okay. Cool. Stop the caravan before it can reach the Skyrim border. Okay, well, it looks like we're on a time crunch now, because where the fuck is that? Okay, right over here. And thankfully, we can just go bing bang. Oh, we haven't been to fucking Falkreath yet. How have we not? We even made a joke about Falkreath Friday. We haven't even been there. I don't even have the little icon for it yet. Okay, well, maybe we should do that. Oopsies. I just forgot about an entire hold to go to. That's crazy. All right, stop right there, criminal scum. You have my shit, and I'm going to fuck your mom. All right, let's see. It shouldn't take us that long to find him. Come on, gang. We have criminals to kill and moms to fuck. There we go, bandits. Let's see. I don't think those are the bandits we're actually chasing, but I'm just gonna... Oh, they hit kind of hard. Oh, yeah, Lucian's in Falkreath. We will need to grab him. He's a fun one. He's a fun guy. All right, they're gonna do that, so I'm just gonna stand here and look pretty, I guess. In that order. I don't feel like... Well, I guess I can go up there. I don't think they're gonna have any, like, particularly good loot, but you never know. So we'll see. We'll see. They might have some goodies. You never know. Oh my gosh, his body just rolled down like it was like... I don't know why, but the first thing that came into my brain was a Polly Pocket. Y'all remember Polly Pockets? Oh my god, they were like little Barbie dolls, but they were like more chewable. You know what I mean? How far are you in writing your book? So it's been going... I had a really long writer's block moment. Originally my plan was to do 1 chapter a month, and I did pretty okay with that with the first 2 chapters. And then February came, and February kicked my ass. Oh, I almost died. That's okay. But we did manage to, on Wednesday, we edited chapter 3. I'm almost done doing, I'm almost done editing it with my friends who are like helping me edit the book in general, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I edit it myself and then I send it to my friends to edit for me, and I'm almost done, so I'll be able to post it probably soon. I did talk to someone who's gonna help me do an illustration for it, so we're getting there. All right, what do I teleport to Ben? You see that? Stop the caravan. It says teleport to Ben. Did you see that?
I'm proud of what we've managed to accomplish.
I need to know. It said like teleport to something. Teleport to Ben. Who the fuck's Ben? 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 I don't see any. How am I teleporting? Like, I thought there would be like something I pressed, it would teleport me somewhere. Ben? Ben? Ben, Bendover. I don't want to teleport to Bendover. Hi, gamer. Welcome in. Stop the caravan. Yeah. Maybe I go here. Maybe it'll move a little bit more. Because I don't see a caravan there. And I don't see Ben. I don't know who the fuck Ben is. Did it move at all? No, it's still at Ben. Ben or I. Let's try going there again. Maybe something fucked up when we got there? I don't know. Let's, teleport to it, I guess. Ben? Ben? Okay, there's Ben. Are you actually there, Ben, or are you baiting me? Oh, there they are! Ben! We found him! Fuck you, Ben! Okay, there we go. I'm now headcanoning that all these Alakir are just named Ben, by the way. Like, every single one of them. Alright. You're getting sucked off, and you're gonna like it. Alright. Are you close to, Castle Home? I don't think so. Alright, there we go. I haven't been able to capture any of these souls, so I need more soul gems in my inventory, low-key. Alright, there we go. Come here. Alright, we can do some more damage, actually. Let's get the, let's do this one. It's more powerful, but it does kind of work. Alright, we're slowly getting there. There we go. Alright. Hopefully we should be able to level up soon. Let's see. Hip bone, left arm, right hand. Yeah, we're not going to be able to get more boners until it's nighttime. We can only summon the boners at night. Oh, shit. I'm dying. Hold up. Hold up. I need to stop doing that. There we go. No more dying. No more dying. Oh, shit. There's a ton of them. Holy fuck. Okay. Let's see. Alright, who's next? Oh, he missed. Okay. Oh, wait, no, I got him. Alright, who's next? Alright, give me your juice. Give me... Oh, recorder's going in. God damn. Okay, there we go. Yeah, you don't have a more powerful healing spell? I actually don't. I think I forgot about it. Alright. Are the horses chill with us? Okay, the horses are chill with us at least. Last time we killed bandits, the horses even were mad at us. So, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Is there anything in here? Let's see. Not a ton, but that's okay. But something's better than nothing. Let's make sure we loot all of them, and we'll see what happens. Who needs help when you have recorder? Honestly, yeah, she's going in. Like, she does not fuck around. I'm gonna be honest with you. She scares me. Like, she's cute, but she also scares the shit out of me because I know she can and would kill me if given the opportunity. Okay, so we got the caravan. Do we need to talk to who? What's his face? Where is he? Where's Avram? Hello? Well, we did all the quests there. I don't know what more there's to do. Let's walk towards Falkreath while I figure out what we're gonna need to do. Cause I don't know where he is. Do we just go back to the museum? Oh, here he is. Hey.
Excellent.
There we go.
That should account for the majority of the stolen artifacts.
Yay!
Whatever is left is surely at Engelman's Rest. I'll mark it on your map.
Okay. What can we inspect in there?
Well, it's an old...
I need to level up, by the way. They're like level 30, 35, and I'm like 26, I think. But I think I have a level, so that might help with that a little bit.
Be certain he'll be ready.
Okay.
Jalal is renowned for his use of effective ambushes.
Oh.
So be careful as we navigate through the ruin.
Alright.
Try to bring up the rear and warn you if I see anything out of the ordinary. He may have employed a few traps as well too.
Well, I'm sure I will narrowly avoid all traps, but I'm sure the rest of the gang will walk face first into them because that's one of their hobbies, actually. Before we do that, yeah, I want to go to Falkreath just so we have it. We can grab Lucian, and then we can see what's up. So let's do more in health because, again, we're blood magicking. And I believe it scales off of our... I believe it scales off our destruction as well. Oh, maybe it doesn't actually. His path, raw power. Do this. Because aren't they in the destruction category? Yeah, they are, right? So that should, the raw power perk should affect these two. So let's also see what our blood magic points are at. 195, so we're 5 points away. Okay. Do you get XP when you complete quests? I think so, yeah. So we just need to kill a few more people, and then we should have, and actually, I'm going to do this real quick because I'm lazy. Check this shit out. Are you ready? Are you ready? Oh, yeah. Check this out. Oh, wait. Why is there a dead guy? Attunement crystal? Wait, what the fuck? I almost walked past an entire quest? Oh, my God. Okay, no more numing. Attunement crystal? What's going on here? Why are you vibrating? Why the fuck is he vibrating? Bro, what? Oh my God, he got his rose toy from Temu. Holy shit, I'll leave you to that. Okay. Hey, anyway, moving on. Damn, that carriage got fucked up. What was that quest it gave us? Read Velen's letter. Okay, let's do that. Let's see. Read the letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. Wonder who it's from. Okay. Y'all remember Blue's Clues? I love Blue's Clues. Anitos. Oh shit, I can't read. Come on, let's move. I need the text to move. I can't read it. Okay. The reports are right. Wraithguard and Sunder are singing, sending a signal out to anyone that might be listening. I don't know how, but I think I know why. The tools were only meant to be used on... It makes more sense that they would never be allowed to leave Morrowind. To ensure this, Kagranag must have put in a failsafe system. If the tools were ever stolen, drones would be activated across Tamriel to recover them. The drones would then store the items in a vault until a tonal architect could fetch them. What the fuck's a tonal architect? Unfortunately, as I suspected, that information was enough for some of the captains to betray us and change course. Okay. They no longer care about the artifacts or the job. They consider the cargo to be a death trap and are taking measures to unload it. Your caravan might think they were carrying the tools, but Sajerson Halalu, right, swapped them before we ever got to Whiterun and intentionally gave them up to the retrieval drones. Fortunately, I managed to track the drones back to a vault near Winterhold, what the locals call the Sightless Pit. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. The joke is right there. The joke is so... It's there. It's there. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I've also discovered the vault can be opened with an attunement crystal, which I've seen... Ah, okay, yeah, we have the crystal. Which I've sent along with this letter. As I am no warrior, I dare not venture inside without you. Hopefully this message reaches your party in time for I know we are of like mind. Your mom... Don't talk about my mom like that. She's a very nice lady. She bought me food yesterday. And alcohol. So, like, she's goated. Don't talk about my mom like that. Although she honestly probably laughed too. As I am no warrior, I dare not venture inside without you. Hopefully this message reaches your party in time, for I know we are of like mind. Oh, well, then... You're not gonna be able to venture inside with him, buddy. He's fucking dead. He's a skeleton. Yeah. As a scholar, I want to see the artifacts delivered to my master. And you have always been someone who does not shirk his duty. I have faith that you and your crew can return north and repair this mistake. Okay. Well, we'll try to repair the mistake, I guess, but... I don't know how much more we can do. We might make it worse. With our track record, I don't know. So... Let's head to Falkreath, and then we'll go to the end, and we'll get another new friend. What kind of dog? I have a dog.
The blacksmith is offering a reward for a dog he saw on the road. I was hoping you'd seen it. Guess I'll stay on the lookout. Keep your nose clean while you're here, outsider.
Okay. Let's take a look-see. Is this... I think I know... They're talking about Barbas, right? I think that's who they're talking about. Anyway... Let's head in here, and hopefully Lucian should be there. If he's not, I'll be a little sad. Where's he in? Here we go. And then we can have even more people to carry our garbage. Yippee! All right, let's take a look. We do have crates here, so we could drop some stuff off here too, but I don't think we really need to right now. We'll just hold on to it, so that way we don't get doubles of certain things. All right, Lucian, where is he? Lucian. I'm looking for a friend. I'm looking for a dashing autistic gentleman. Where is he? Lucian. Oh, track targets. Targets. Why'd I say it like that? The fuck? Isn't he supposed to be in here?
My, nothing gets the blood flowing like delivering mail orders from...
I hear him. I hear him. Sir? Sir? He's one of my favorite favorite followers. Where is he? I literally heard him speaking.
Do you think Celeste knows she has the Dragonborn gathering supplies for us?
Here he is!
Excuse me, madam.
My man!
But,
I need to get the replacer for him that makes him hot, because he's so... I love quirky men. He's so cute. Are you trying to flirt with me? She would not say that, but I would. So we'll do this one.
Marvelous. My name is Lucian Flavius.
I love him so much. He's so cute. He's so fucking cute.
Something of a musician, though I suppose that's more of a hobby.
Good for you. Always room to better yourself.
How can I put this? Well acquainted with the less savory side of Skyrim?
I kill people, yes. I've seen a thing or two.
As a matter of fact, I do. I'm here in Skyrim on an expedition. Academic, mainly.
Okay.
I find the province simply fascinating. The flora, the fauna, the...
Why is this lady, like, judging him?
Nordic,
do you see that? Look at her fucking face.
Politics.
Bombastic side
Trouble
eye.
is, I'm really not much of a fighter. I know a few spells and can just about swing a sword, but beyond that, I'm pretty useless in combat.
That's okay. Me too, actually.
For a milk drinker. drinker like
Milk
me.
drinker.
Not
It's
my own
okay.
anyway. So, I'm looking for someone to travel with.
Well, we have a really great gang going on here. We would love for you to join our troop.
What I'm asking is, would you awfully mind if I tag along?
The more
I
the
would, of course,
merrier.
compensate you most
God.
handsomely for putting up with me.
Sure. How much we talking?
Oh, shall we say 300 septims up front?
Yeah, absolutely.
After that, I'll top you up every time we
Oh, you'll top me up? Hey, yo.
Search. At your discretion, of course. No obligations. Save that you take me with you and assist in keeping me alive wherever possible.
I'll do my best. Sounds like a deal.
Oh, splendid.
Splendid.
Here's your gold. This is going to be quite the adventure.
Yippee! All right, well, we have a friend. I'm Vanya, by the way.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Lead on.
All right, well, now we have a buddy. Do we have any armor to give him? Do we have anything on hand? Let's see, because I think we did take a bunch of stuff, but... you know what we can give him? We do have the monk's robes. It's not going to help him a whole lot. The vagrant robes are there. Here, why don't you...
What do you need?
We can give him some, like, carrying stuff, I guess. Nigo meets him because Lucian weak looking. That's so mean. He might be a stupid twink, but he's my stupid twink. Here we go.
Oh, please, give me all the good stuff.
We will give you the good stuff. So let's get you, why don't you take, so we have Recorder. I think we could use another back line. We have Recorder and Lydia as our front line, and then we have Inigo as our back line. So why don't you actually take some arrows? Why we have 107 ebony arrows, I'm not quite sure. Take these. And then, do we have a bow? Oh, we do not. Well, just hold that for now. We'll get you a bow later. And then you can have the, do you want this cool hat? There you go. Looking good, buddy. Looking good. A support mage would be nice. That, honestly, is a good idea. I need to give him, like, a staff or something. I know there's a way to configure what spells he uses with, the follower framework. I just don't remember how to do it. You can have a backpack. There you go. With a bow. Yeah, bows do more damage. There you go. And we'll give you some... Well, take some pouches, bro. Take some pouches. There you go. And then, you can have, let's see... necklace, and then I think we had some cool robes. There you go. Pretty swaggy. Pretty cool. Oh, actually, hold on. We can do it with him, actually.
Certainly.
Tactics. Let's talk about spells.
Spells it is.
Stop casting frostbite.
Too chilly for you? No problem.
He's so cute. I love him. Yeah, flames and healing. That sounds... Well, I guess we... Yeah, flames and healing I think sounds good. So we'll get him some actual mage stuff soon. And we'll give him a bow too. But I think we'll be okay. Alright. There we go. Cool. Oh, pop off Recorder. Hell yeah, queen. Alright. Let's see. We'll skedaddly do. And then we'll... Where do we want to head next? Where is the... I want to get the rest of our stuff back. There we go. Enter the vault. Alright. Into the vault. Into the fucking pit. Alright, where is the fucking pit though? Where's the pit? I want to get in the pit. Let me get in the pit. Get in the pit. Here, let me actually uncheck every other quest because I'm overwhelmed yet again. I always do this to myself and then I wonder why I'm overwhelmed, but that's okay. Let me see. So many quests. So many. I mean, we are going to probably do everything just so I can get out of the way, but there's definitely some stuff that is more important than others. Because you can see we got a lot of fucking stuff here, so it won't let me open the map to see it specifically, so we're just gonna do that to see it. So where's the pit? I'm finna be in the pit. Here we go. Pit. Alright, let's head to Wayward Pass. I think that's the easiest way to get there. Yeah. And then we'll go in the pit, get our shit, and we'll be good. We'll be dandy, okay? Alrighty. We've been spotted. Who the fuck spotted me? Nice robes, by the way. Oh my god, wait, hold on, Lucian. You didn't tell me you were packing that. Holy fuck. Okay, are we all good, by the way? Who are you guys? Scholar? Mercenary?
Out with it. Need something?
Oh, okay.
My name is Inigo.
Oh!
Very pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you too, Inigo. I think we're going to make a great team.
Yes, I am sure.
They're so cute!
You don't sound very convinced.
Well, you seem a little,
A little what? Well educated? well dressed?
He is absolutely well dressed.
Wealthy?
Weak. I mean no offense. I am sure you will be fine.
Fine? You're sure I'll be fine? Gosh, thanks for the vote of confidence,
Fancy
Inigo.
your chances.
Wait, oh God! Okay, yeah, prove yourself, bestie. Pop off. I didn't. That was not planned. Good for Lucian getting a fucking cave bear spawning in so he can prove himself a baddie. Good job, buddy. All right, there we go. God damn. Okay, we'll take that, I guess. Damn, you really popped off there. You did not. He did not hesitate. All right. Well, shit. Can't you give them spells to learn? I think I can. I know right now I think he just has flames and healing, but I'm wondering if I give him a spell tome, will he learn it? That's what I'm wondering. Oh, they're having that interaction again because it got interrupted. Alright, we're just gonna rush towards the pit. Pit, 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 pit. Yeah, it's the same interaction as before. Alright. Come on, gang. Yeah, he was... I mean, at least he was trying to be polite about calling him a little bitch. He didn't, like... He wasn't rude about it. He was just being honest? Question mark? Oh, shit. I hate Ice Wraith. I hate Ice Wraith so much. Oh, and there's a dragon. Okay, great. Oh, boy. Can you give me a woman? Woman? There we go. Alright, where is this? Yeah, we're gonna have to go around the mountain. We can't go through the mountain. We gotta go around the mountain. Okay. I thought I'd been to the Forsaken Cave before, but I guess not. Alright. I don't... Wait. I didn't think Ice Wraiths had blood, but if that works, okay. Alright, let's head... Yeah, let me take a look at my map again, just to make sure I know. Yeah, we're gonna go around the mountain. Those things with high magic resistance, those dragons? Oh boy. Oh boy. Is he still, like, skedaddly dootin'? Is he still around? Let me see. Don't see it. Oh, yeah, he sure is. Should we go fight him? We'll just mind our business. It's fine. I'm sure they've got it handled, you know. Oh, look at these lanterns. They're blue. That's cute. That's cool. Love to see it. Very unique. Yeah, they're fine. They'll live. They'll live. Trust me, dragon fighting builds character. It's good for the soul, you know? I've had enough dragon fighting. You guys can have a turn. Oh, boy. Yeah, he doesn't even know we're here. It's totally chill. It's chill. All right, can I... Am I have to... Okay, I think I have to keep going around the mountain.
Lucian, yes. What did I say?
What did you say?
My apologies.
Aw. They're friends. They're friends. That's very cute. Okay. Who's this group of people coming over here? Are you guys friends or not friends? Oh, they're Imperials. Okay. They're just fighting the war. Okay. Fighting the war is fine, as long as you're not fighting me. I don't want to get involved. Skeleton marksman? What the fuck? You're telling me a skeleton marked this man? That's crazy. Yeah, is this gonna work on him? Oh, I guess it's very ineffective, but it does technically do damage. Alright, you guys handle that. Oh, shit. What is this place? Oh, fuck, the ground is rumbly. Why are we rumbly? Oh, stop moaning. A few times he will ask you to teach you combat and magic. The magic. Okay, I will need to. Oh shit, I'm dying. Hold up. Let me stop doing that real quick and then heal myself. Cause whoopsie. Oh, I'm out of sauce too. Oh great. I'm just gonna stand back here. Thanks, guys. Hi, Unicorn. Welcome in, gamer. And then let's do blood drain. Hopefully I don't accidentally click the wrong one. Oh my god, there's a guy up there. Okay, that makes sense. There. Oh, and a master conjurer. Okay, yup, that'll do it. Alright, let's spawn another woman in, because this is gonna be a rough one. Thank you for the yeet. Okay, let's go to the root of the source, or the root of the sauce, and we'll see what's going on there. Let's see. Hopefully they don't kick my ass, but they probably will. Although, oh shit. Okay, that's the wrong spell. I need blood drain. There we go. Nope, not that one actually. Oh wait, does it heal me back? Hold on. All right, give me your sauce. Alright, Lucian's not doing too well. Alright. Lydia's got him distracted. Pop off, queen. I'm healing back up. Ooh. Oh, these are big boy spells. These are big boy spells. Is that him casting that? I don't think so. Or maybe it is. He's almost down though, thankfully. There we go. Alright, he should be down. Ebony Arrow, Staff of Ice Shifts, and a Daedra Heart. Don't mind if I do. Occasionally take over training him for you. Oh wait, that's cute. Thank you, Inigo. Very cool. Doing my dirty work for me. You love to see it. Alright, who's in here? Is there any other? Aha! Wait, is she naked? Oh, no, she's just a slut. Well, that's fine. Good for her. I wanted to make sure. I was like, wait, is she naked? Do I have to be concerned? It's like, oh no, she's just living her best life. How do I get over there? I don't want to deal with the skeleton marksman, because usually, well... Here, I'm just going to spawn a woman. Woman time! There we go. Alright. And we got him?
Yeah, sorry, but you're not worth it to put in my record, so goodbye.
Oh, you tell him, recorder. Goddamn. Okay. Did we get her?
I'm going to enjoy killing you.
Where'd she go? Where'd she go? Here she is. Okay.
Damn you. You're pathetic. What?
Okay, so it takes some health to get it started, but then it does heal you back up. That's what I'm noticing with the other thing. Glass dagger. Yippee! Okay. So something I am noticing is it is about nighttime. So let's skill that marksman, and then we might be able to actually acquire some boners. I would like to acquire some boners real quick. Let's see. Conjure altar. Can I do that like right now? Alright, you guys handle that. I'm gonna do some fucked up shit. Blah. Okay. Can I use this in combat? Oh, I don't think I was supposed to do that. Let's just wait till combat's over, and then we should be okay. Is he still alive? Hardly. Okay, well, let's just do this real quick. Just because my blood magic's not gonna work on him. Ice magic isn't great on him either, but something. Alright, here's, a bow for Lucian, but he's doing okay with magic, it seems. Alright, let's see. Can I use it? Alright, let's get a mage. Aha! Drain armor sounds cool. Let's do that. And then my conjuration's almost at 100. Fuck yeah. Oh, he's talking to Lydia.
All right then.
That's how my conversations with Lydia go.
Have any hobbies? Knitting, perhaps?
I've never held a knitting needle.
No.
Also, am I done disassociating? Okay, cool.
Look, Lydia.
Let's do another skeleton mage. We'll have this one do stagger. That can be useful, especially for our warriors in our party. Okay, 2 boners.
But I only... Alright.
Lydia's not fucking with Lucian. That's so rude. Okay.
Women.
And then, you know what? Just more mages. Fuck it. Fire. Fire seems to always work for whatever we need. It's frost that sometimes fucks us up. I think we're gonna be able to level off just... Yeah, we get another level just from boners. Thank you, boners. Very cool.
Hello there.
And then, oh, he's just talking to everybody.
Hey there, Lucian. My name is Inigo.
Oh, they're having this conversation again. Okay, we got a full party. We got the whole gang here. Okay. All right, let's keep scooting along, and hopefully we can find our way to the shit and get our shit back. So let me see. I will be honest with you guys. I won't be able to stream for too much longer just because I'm going to Chili's. One of my friends had a rough time at work, and we were like, hey girl, you want to go to Chili's? So we're going to fucking Chili's. So unfortunately I won't be able to stream as long as I usually do, because I'm going to Chili's. But knowing y'all, I figured you would understand. Sometimes you just gotta take a girl to Chili's, you know? That's just sometimes how it be, you know? And what better way to feel better than really like subpar drinks and a 3 for $10, you know? That's what I would do for myself if I was sad. I love Chili's. No party like a boner party. Fuck yeah. Oh, god damn it, not the ice wolves. So I'm hoping we can get there before I have to get off. But we'll take a look. Alright, come on, Scritch. Alright, let's see. What spells do I have equipped? That one. Okay. Oh, yeah, we should be able to upgrade our blood magic soon. Oh, that one did. Oh, it doesn't heal you if it doesn't hit. Okay, that's what I'm noticing. There we go. All right. The ice balls were a little extra, but that's okay. Are you gonna get fucked up on margaritas? I very well might. I very well might. So let's see how far I can do. You're going to the pepper. The pepper? I mean, maybe. All right, I think it's through this passageway, actually. I think I know where we're going. Let me heal myself just in case, like, I randomly get got, and then I die, and then I cry. Because I don't like crying, actually. Drunk EB. Listen, for people who are subscribed, you might get Drunk EB voice memo in the car. Because I think last EB sub-only voice memo was also Drunk EB in the car. Actually, no, it was Drunk EB in the car after going to Chili's. So let's head through this valley, and then I think we'll be, oh, that's a polar bear. Oh, no, not a polar bear, a snow bear. I'm sorry. Is fucking polar bear copyrighted? Can we not? Can we not say that? Okay, there we go. No! What the fuck? Get away from my boner. You're so mean to me. No, fuck, I killed myself! Shit! Wrong button. Who's picking me up? Is someone picking me up? Thank you. Boner, God bless you. I'm stupid. I'm sorry. Your mother's an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm a mistake. Actually, I don't think Snow Bear has a display, so we'll go off. Boner sit, yeah. It's not in a polar region, so it can't be a polar bear. Oh. We'll just start calling them cold bears. This bear's cold. Okay, I think we're close to the sightless pit. What? Oh. Nice. Okay. Let's get that location marker real quick, just for reasons. Let me just dab up real quick over here. Shrine of Azura, eh? Looking respectfully. So, God, I've never seen a booby that big in my life. That's crazy. We need to go look at it real quick. What? Oh, hey! I forgot you were here.
It's good to see you again, Dragonborn.
Yeah. Why are you here?
Azura guided me on my quest to defeat Dagothur.
My bear does go with the name Black Bear. Yeah, it makes sense.
In turn, I pay her my respects when I can.
Okay, well that's cool. I mean, I would pay my respects. Like, this is a good view. You picked a good. You picked a good viewing spot. Wait, did they fucking? Oh wait, hey.
Azura has seen your coming, traveler. It was not
really,
but fate that has led you here.
I don't know. I think curiosity did play a role. What do you mean by that?
Azura has given me the gift
of
foresight.
Yeah, he's my friend. He's my buddy. We're tight. We go way back.
You have been chosen.
He's my
to
friend.
Be her champion. I know.
We play Monopoly together.
But do not worry. It will all unfold as she has predicted.
Okay. Well, what does she need?
You must go.
Because I do want to help all the Daedra.
Endangered by water.
I don't care if it makes me a cultist. They're my friends.
Inside, you will find an elven mage who can turn the brightest star as black as night. It is cryptic, I know, but Azura's signs are never
go back
wrong.
a whole age. Hey, time traveler, bro. It's sick as hell.
Ask if they know this elven enchanter.
Okay. Well, I can do that. What does it attend me mean?
Yes. Champion of Azura.
Since when am I the I can sex her. That's what that is. I was about to say, like, what does attend me mean? Okay. No, I understand. Oh. Moon and Star. What's that? Is that in our... Moon and Star's a quest, isn't it? Did we do Moon and Star already? Yeah, we did Moon and Star. That's why we're at the baby bean. The baby bean. I'm not gonna lie, I just wanted to look to see if they, like, sculpted a clitoris, because that would have been really funny to me. I'm sorry, I'm just being real with you. I just wanted to know, okay? You would do the same. I mean, probably, I don't know for sure. But, like, I'm just saying. Just want to know, bro. Alright, there we go. Hello, you are dead. Alright, that was easy. Are you still going? Oh, yeah, you are. Fuck! Oh, that's a kill move. That's what it was. I was like, did I kill myself again? Shit. Okay, we're good. Alright. Sightless pit. Sightless pit. Oh, that fox was a victim in the crossfire. Goddamn. Well, either way, we did make it. To the fucking pit. Let's go. The clip would be the size of your character. Hell yeah! That's what I'm talking about. Ah, yes. My favorite place. Sightless Pit. I love Sightless Pit. Sightless Pit. Sightless Pit. Sightless Pit. Yippee! Okay. Let's see what's in the pit. I finna be in the pit. I don't know why I love that. Oh, he's vibrating again. You gotta calm down, bro. Like this, we gotta figure something out, cause this is. Thank you, recorder. Very cool. The way you just clipped out after echo. You're like, yes, that's what that is, baby girl. Good job. Excellent, excellent fucking job. You did great. Okay. Well, let's get my shit back, and then I'm going to fucking Chili's. Alright, that doesn't give me a buff, so I don't want it. We will take this pickaxe, because the other pickaxe is a display, so I am going to have to get rid of it. So I should have a pickaxe on hand. Alright, let's do health again. And then, what do I want to take? Conjuration, maybe? We have Puppet Master already. Skeleton Mage is there. See, we have the ability to unlock fire ritual, but I don't want to burn one of my boners. I don't know. Like, I get that it gives me a perk, but like, I don't know. Like, that sounds kind of mean. Can we put more in raw power? No. What about speech? Speech sounds good. What is this one? Irresistible dance. Okay, I don't know if I want to do that one. I don't know if I want to dance irresistibly at people. I have 2 perk points, actually. Holy shit. You know what? Actually, I want to start putting points in enchanting, because I want better enchantments for my shit. Let's do that, actually. Yeah, that'll be good. We'll do that, and we'll be okay. Oh, that is a dead man. Okay, cool. He did not get in the pit correctly. He struggled a little bit, but that's okay. Let's see. Anything good? No bones. Kind of pissed there's no bones for me to take. Let's see. Pit. Oh, nope. Careful. Oh, there's fucking Falmer down here. Oh, god damn it. Shit, I missed. Okay, that didn't heal me that time, but that's okay. Let's just do the drain health again and just get healed back up. No, my skeleton! God damn it. Okay. Good thing we can always make another one. Ooh, okay. She got him. Alright, there we go. Any good Falmer stuff? Essence of the Falmer. Oh no, I don't need that. That's just Dick Bigger potion. I don't need Dick Bigger potion. We'll be okay without Dick Bigger potion. I think we'll survive. Also, what the fuck is going on here? What? You see that? Hello? Oh, okay, this is a little trippy. Hey chat, where the fuck are we going? It's here? Temple of Zrim? I don't think that's where I need to go. Fire's a key, so I guess we're not going there. What? Oh, Skeever? No, you guys can handle that. I'm gonna see what's going on. Where's the vault? The vault. Here we go. Alrighty. I was having a stroke. Yeah, I didn't like the way that looked. That was a little... Yeah, you guys have fun with that. I'm gonna see if I can find the... Oh, shit. Okay. We are alone. We have no friends. We need to make friends. Alright, making friends. This is not what my mom meant when she said she wanted me to make friends, but it's working. Okay, please set him on fire. Set this man on fire. Okay, thank you. Now set this man on fire. Set him on fire. Set him on fire. Thank you. Okay. Alright. And then will you suck his blood? Do you have any goodies? No? Okay, that's fine. Alright, I think everyone, yeah, the gang should be coming back slowly but surely. Anything over here? No, doesn't look like it. Yeah, Avram's here. Alright, let's see if we can find the vault. The vault. The vault. The vault. The vault. The vault. I just want my shit back. Okay, here we go. Farmer Lore Master. Oh, shit. This is gonna be a rough one, isn't it? Oh my god, that spider's doing the stanky leg. Did you see that? Hold on. Okay, come here. Stop being alive. Deus Vult. Yeah. Okay, and you gotta go. Okay, you need to leave. You need to leave. Okay, and then there we go. There we go. Okay. Now we're healing, and then he should be okay. Do you have any good? There we go. Ancient Farmer's Shield. Wait, no, get in the day. Yeah, new display. Okay. The vault. We have made it. All right. Now that we have made it to the vault, unfortunately, it is 8 o'clock, so it is time. It is time for EB Games to get fucked up at Chili's. So Sunday, we will hopefully get our ship back. I want my ship back for the museum. And then we will kidnap a child to sacrifice to the Anatomancer and learn flesh magic. It'll be fun. What?
It feels like...
You can't scare me like that. You can't say ominous. Did you feel that? Whenever you're hungry. That's fucked up. Stop doing that. But anyway, gamer, thank you for coming out to my my bonus Skyrim Sunday that happened to be on a Friday. Listen, I just really like Skyrim. And, like, I don't want to just be like, I am Skyrim streamer. I will only stream Skyrim. But, like, I just really like Skyrim. Sometimes I just want to play only Skyrim. I do really like the just chatting streams we've been doing lately, though. I do really like talking with you guys. Those have been fun. But there might be more just chatting streams. But thank you. I want to make her feel better because we're kicking her ass. So we're going to kick her ass we're gonna go to Chili's and call it a day. So let's find someone to raid. If Twitch will load. Hello. But yeah, so if you're new in town, hi. My name is EB Games. You can keep up with me and see my schedule here. I have uploaded all my VODs here. I have this thing, and I'm also writing a book about my OC because I love her. And then there was one other thing I wanted to do. I can't remember what it was. But let's go raid. Who do we want to raid? Oh, we'll raid Odyssey. Odyssey's really sweet. Odyssey Eurobeat, she's very, very fucking talented. You probably seen her stuff. She also went by Eurobeat Brony for a while. But she's very, very talented and also so sweet. She is so kind. So we're gonna raid her because she is an absolute sweetheart. And we will see what's going on. So gamers, I'm sorry, Game Cypher, we're about to end just because I gotta go to Chili's. We'll make our raid message. EB is going to Chili's. Like, that's literally just the raid message. EB is going to Chili's. I'm going to Chili's! Alright, gamers, thank you so much for hanging out. I apologize, the stream was a little short. I will see you on Sunday. It's okay, I've got a surprise for my next stream or two. Oh, hell yeah, I love surprises. I'll be back Sunday, okay? Alright. Good night, gamers. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.